What's up, everyone, and welcome back to MLB The Show 17, and today we will be beginning the ranked seasons grind. We're going to try and get up into the pennant race to get that starting pitcher Francisco Liriano. I'd like to get that Paul Goldschmidt as well, but I believe you need to get to 900 points, which I don't know if that'll happen. It'll be interesting to see if I can grind out enough games between now and May 15th, although I will be taking a vacation for about a week and a half out of that time period, so it'll be probably not very easy, but we'll see if it can happen. We'll see. Anyway, before we get into ranked seasons, though, we are going to be rebuilding the team. As you can see, we have 32,000 stubs in the bottom corner. That is going into this game. We have 32,000 stubs. I already rebuilt the team. We sold Miguel Cabrera and Yuri Familia for around 70 to get to around 70K. I believe it was a total profit after tax of around 65K. So we'll go over some of the players that we bought here in just a moment. And remember to leave a like if you want more Diamond Dynasty content on the channel. Definitely going to be trying to invest a little bit more time into the game mode this year. I don't think I uploaded a single Diamond Dynasty video at all last year. Like I did in MLB 15, I don't think I did it all last year. And this year there's a lot of stuff to get done. And without further ado, let us get into some of the changes that we have made to this team. And I don't have clips from me buying some of these cards that you're going to see in my starting lineup because they were login bonuses or game winning bonuses. So I have a couple cards that you're not going to see me buy right here. But first we're going to be buying a Justin Verlander. I like his balanced stats. His home run rating's not too bad, and that's kind of one of the ratings I was looking at the most. And that's the same reason that we're going to be going for Jose Quintana. Not the greatest hits per nines or Ks per nine, but he has pretty decent control, really pretty good velocity, and he can suppress home runs, which is, again, the major thing I'm concerned about. There's not a lot of good pitchers at suppressing home runs in this game, and I was thinking about buying the Lance McCullers here, but we're going to be addressing a different area of the field now as we are going to be heading off to center field, and we're going to be purchasing A.J. Pollock, who is probably going to be our number 2 hitter. We have another hitter that's going to be ahead of him that you guys will see later. And I thought he was the most balanced center fielder. He's really good at fielding. He has good speed, and he's good contact, and decent power, too. And I like the plate vision rating as well. Now we're heading over to third base, and this was one where I debated for a long time between Kyle Seager and Evan Longoria, and I kind of waited the market a little bit too long, because Evan Longoria was like 7K when I went to look at him the first time. But we're going to end up going with Kyle Seager because we needed a left-handed bat in our lineup, and you'll see exactly why I wanted to do this when we show the overall lineup, because we have a couple players that you obviously aren't going to be seeing right here. But we're going to be going with this Kyle Seager. I like the balance hitting. He's a really good fielder. Doesn't offer a lot in speed, but he had better plate vision than Evan Longoria as well. And his ratings are pretty much the same as Evan Longoria's, except for his contact is obviously better against righties than lefties. And another couple options I was thinking about down here were Anthony Rendon and Jose Ramirez, but I wanted a power threat in our lineup because a lot of the guys that we have don't really hit for very much power. So we're going to be going with this Kyle Seager right here. And now we're going to be taking a look at the catching position. We have the Evan Gattis, who's up to an 85 with his dynamic ratings, but I didn't like a lot of the catching options on the market, and Evan Gattis I thought was a little bit too power heavy, and I liked Wilson Ramos' balance a little bit more. He's also a better fielder, and he was also only a silver card, so he was a lot cheaper than a lot of the other catchers. Like I see a lot of people are using Yadier Molina, but I just didn't think he was worth it for that price. Even if you think Yadier Molina is a better card, you can't deny that Wilson Ramos at a quarter of the price is a much better value, especially at a position like that. So we're going to be going back to the rotation once again, and we're going to be picking up a couple silver cards to round out our rotation now that we have 3 pretty good pitchers, because we had that Mike Minor we pulled the other day too. And we are going to be purchasing Michael Fulmer and Garrett Richards, who cost like a combined 1,700 stubs, and they both have really good ratings that I like a lot. And Garrett Richards especially has a lot of velocity. We'll see how his control pans out in game. I haven't gotten to use him yet. Spoiler alert, he won't be the starter for the game later in this episode, but I'm hoping that that control can be at least decent enough to work with that velocity being as incredible as it is. And so I talked about the starting rotation already. It's going to be Mike Minor, Garrett Richards, Jose Quintana, Justin Verlander, and that rookie Michael Fulmer card, who's a slight upgrade over the Michael Fulmer card I already had and looked like a pretty good card. Now, I didn't show any of the changes that I made for the bullpen because I pretty much bought a completely new bullpen. I did buy a completely new bullpen. None of these players are the ones that you guys saw in the first episode where we assembled the team. So we got a couple lefties. We got Jerry Blevins and Tony Watson, and then I just pretty much acquired a bunch of really good silver relievers that I thought could serve really well with their ratings. And Hector Neris we got we got for, I believe, a login bonus one day, or it might have been a game bonus. I'm not 100% sure. Alex Colome is actually an 83 overall. He's down a little bit because his matchup rating doesn't like him against the Yankees, but he was only like 350 stubs, and he has really good like ratings, I thought. And Edwin Diaz was the same way. He was only like an 84, but I thought his strikeout, his velocity, and his hits per 9 and his home runs per 9 were all really good. Michael Givens, I thought, was one of the best relievers available because he had really good velocity and control, and he had a good home run per 9, good hit per 9 rating, and I believe his Ks per 9 is actually pretty decent as well. And our closer is going to be Ken Giles, even though he's probably not going to be our closer. We're going to use our bullpen a little bit like the Terry Francoeur Cleveland Indians do, and we're going to be giving our guys different opportunities at different spots. Like, we'll put Ken Giles in the 5th maybe, but I liked him because he's only an 84 overall, and he has a kind of low hits per 9. It's below 70, but he has a high velocity rating and like mid-60s control and 70s strikeout, and he's a good clutch pitcher, which I also like as well. So that's going to be the bullpen. And now let's talk lineup. You saw a lot of the acquisitions that we made. The couple that you guys probably didn't see were Adam Eaton and Melky Cabrera. Adam Eaton I bought for, I think, like 400 stubs, and he has really good contact ratings, so I liked him. And Melky we got as a game reward for, I believe, a Conquest game. I'm not 100% certain. It might have been a play versus CPU game when I was trying to get that Jim Palmer rookie starter mission done. But this is gonna be our lineup. Adam Eaton leading off, AJ Pollock in the 2nd spot. And the reason that AJ Pollock's not leading off is because I wanted to go righty-lefty throughout the lineup, and you can see for the most part that we did that. Obviously, Melky Cabrera is a switch hitter, so he could be coming from either side of the plate. But I wanted to go righty-lefty throughout the lineup, and leading off Adam Eaton and putting AJ Pollock in the 2nd hole was the best way to accomplish that. Also, I think AJ Pollock is actually our best hitter, and traditionally you want to put your best hitter in the number 2 spot. Kyle Seager's good. He's a good power hitter, but he doesn't have good balanced contact from both sides. And I like that AJ Pollock is a balanced hitter, even though he doesn't bat switch. He can hit both left-handers and right-handers. So with the lineups, everything set, it is time to begin ranked seasons. So we're actually going to start out a little bit of a handicap because we are 0-1. Because the connection was really bad in my first game, and from about the 3rd inning on, it was completely unplayable. It was still only like a 1-run game, and I had a really good shot to win, but I decided to give the game a few days to kind of settle its servers, and this game had a significantly better connection than the last one. I actually still have the gameplay from the first game. I might show you guys how awful it was to play through that first game. But nonetheless, we're going to be taking on the Scuffletown Cowboys and JS Miffy 77. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name, although you'll never probably watch this video. And you can see he's got a pretty good lineup, a pretty decent lineup. It's like mine. It's all silvers and golds pretty much, except I have Trevor Story because Trevor Story's a beast in this game. But he has a pretty bad starting pitcher in Mike Fier, so hopefully we can take advantage of that this game. Anyway, Adam Eaton is going to be the first man at bat up against Michael Fiers, and he is going to start things off very well, going up the middle, right past the glove of Brandon Crawford, and taking this one out into left center. So an immediate base hit, and we are already going to be taking advantage of Mike Fiers here. Next up is going to be the right-handed bat of AJ Pollock now. 1-0 count for him, and a pitch right over the middle, and he is going to single that one right between the shortstop and third baseman out into left field. And so first 2 on for the Hipsters, and they are already getting to Mike Fiers here in the first inning. This is going to bring up Freddie Freeman now, and he is going to lift one out into right, over the head of the right fielder, and that's going to land. And unfortunately, the base running controls kind of get in my way, and we are going to actually end up probably surrendering a runner on third because of it. Usually I try to manually control the runners, but I probably going to have to use the bumpers in Diamond Dynasty because it's all online. Anyway, next 2 batters would both get out, and then Wilson Ramos is going to ground out to Brandon Crawford to end the inning. So with 3 hits and no outs, the Hipsters only manage 1 run, so that's not the greatest. But anyway, now it is later on in the game, and this is going to be a double to the gap. And that was Melky Cabrera who hit that one. Not the highest overall card, but a pretty solid hitter, and we don't really need 3 great defensive outfielders, and we already have 2, so you can just throw them in left field and not really have to worry about it. Now Rougned Odor is up to bat, and this one's going to be hit high, and it looks like he's going to be able to catch this one, but he can't field it, and that's actually going to cost us a run. I thought he was going to be able to field it. We could have scored the runner from second. Instead, it's just going to be runners on second and third. And this guy is actually going to pull his pitcher right here. He's going to swap from Mike Fiers to Justin Wilson, the lefty, to face the pitcher. The pitcher would fly out, And now it is going to be Adam Eaton grounding this one too short. And he could have had an easy out at first, but he goes home after the runner's already scored, so he's not going to get either out. Now runners are on the corners with only one out now. And this is going to be A.J. Pollock once again, and he is going to bloop this one into that's actually not even really a bloop. That was a hard hit all the way back to the warning track. That's going to be a double. Probably could have gotten a run out of that if he gotten a little bit better of a jump, and I actually would have went home if I knew the catcher was going to be out of position on this throw. But it's going to be 3-0 now with one out, and now Freddie Freeman going to ground to first base, and the play at the plate. The runner is safe. That gives Transylvania a 4-0 lead. So this guy not making the greatest defensive decisions in this inning. Kyle Seager now is going to ground out, and this is going to be a double play, which will end the inning because we already had that one out from the pitcher, Jose Quintana, flying out. And now Jose Quintana still pitching, and this Freddie Freeman on the other team is doing well too, as he hits a home run right there. Very slow fly, but does have enough height to get out of the park, and so this guy gets a run back, and the Cowboys make it a 4-1 game. And now Trevor Story is at bat for the Hipsters, and he says, well, I don't want it to be a 3-run game anymore. And he jacks this one, another slow fly, but this one is absolutely gone. A home run, making it a 5-1 game, still in favor of the Hipsters. Now Michael Givens is on the mound, and he is facing off against Gary Sanchez. And what do you think Gary Sanchez does? All he does is hit bombs. He's going to hit one, 5-2, and that's actually going to wrap up the scoring for this game. And it was a really slow game after the explosion in the first couple innings for the Hipsters. Edwin Diaz had a great stint at the end of the game, and he ends the game on a strikeout. Now, if I had more time in this video, because I didn't want it to run too long, so I kind of shorted the highlights a little bit. I didn't want this to be like a 20-minute video or even like a 15-minute video, so I cut down on the highlights a little bit. But once I figured out that this guy really couldn't hit off-speed pitches, this game was over, because he got like 4 hits in the first 2 innings, and he wasn't striking out very much. But I would start with fastballs inside, and he would always swing at that, and then I could just throw a changeup or a curveball in the second pitch and get him down on an 0-2 count. He couldn't time it correctly, and he really just couldn't figure out how to hit off-speed pitching. That was actually like the difference in this game, is that I was getting decent hits. Also, he had 9 hits on the day. He just couldn't capitalize. The only scoring was off those 2 home runs. We played really well and had good situational awareness, and he really just messed up. He could have had an easy out, and it would have cut down on our scoring in the second inning. But anyway, we are going to go up 81 points because of that. And now for our post-game reward, we actually already have a few in these cards, and we're going to end up getting a duplicate Craig Gentry, out of this game. And so our overall record in Diamond Dynasty is going to move to 1-1, although technically it's going to be 1-0 in this series from what I've showed you guys. And we're moving our way up. We got 81 points for that game. Hopefully we can get up to the regular season next time. We'll probably be showing 2 games. Anyway, that is going to be doing it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe for more Diamond Dynasty and MLB The Show 17.